Hi creative friends, this is Soraya and thank you so much for joining me. So I am going to dive right in. I did write some just random text. I just wanted to have some interest in the background, so I did do that and I didn't record it. But all I did is I just grabbed a ballpoint pen, just a regular velocity pen. Just use anything you have if you want to work this way, and I just wrote some random stuff. You can write your morning pages, you can write poetry, journaling, grocery lists, doodles, designs, patterns, whatever. It's just to add some interest. I'm going to add some chalk paint over top of it, so you're not really going to be able to see it anyways. It's just going to leave like a really cool textured patterny design kind of interest, so the background is not completely plain, and I kind of like that look, but I don't want it to be too obvious because I don't want it to compete with the face either. So while I work on this, I am just going to talk about some of the great reasons to work this way. I think I just wrote an Instagram post, actually, just kind of putting my thoughts into words about why working this way is such a great way to create portraits, especially mixed media portraits. Now, the very first reason to work this way is a lot of times when we are, doing portraits, and I don't think it matters like how much you do it, how experienced you are, it's just that fear of the blank white page. I don't know, it just, maybe it's a psychological thing, but when you work this way, you are just completely doing away with all of that because you're just painting a monster. So it just instantly, all of your fears, they just dissipate because you're not painting a portrait. You're not painting a face. Facial features, proportions, skin tones, all of those things, you're just not even focused on that. You're simply painting a monster. So what does that take you to? That takes you to being a kid, really. And I just find that that's the perfect entry point into creativity, and just being in beginner's mind, like full of curiosity, playfulness, a state of wonder and joy. Oh, like, let me just put this down. Let me see what this color is going to do. Let me see what, you know, if I add these two colors together, if I, mix these two colors in a palette, and you don't even really focus on, oh, do these go together? Is this purple found in skin tones? You really don't even focus on that. So, you know, you can end up with some really beautiful, unusual combinations. And actually, skin tones include every color. And if you go to any portrait that you like, and just isolate parts of it, just get out your viewfinder and just look at it in an abstract way. Even a very realistically rendered portrait is going to have very abstracted color fields, and it's also going to have a lot of different colors. So, be bold, just kind of go for it. And another reason to work this way is you're focusing on the colors and the values, and you're not focusing on the facial features. So once again, you can get really unusual combinations of values, and just the sky's the limit, really. I'm so obsessed, you guys. I'm trying not to. I'm kind of that way. Like, when I get obsessed with something, I really go all in. And I mean, not that that's a bad thing. I'm learning a lot. So, it's just kind of the way I work. But I am just wanting to make like 100 portraits of painting monsters, just to see like how far I can push things, what I can come up with, and I'm just so loving it. It's seriously just so fun. So, just kind of doing the push-pull, just honing in on the facial features, because I started off just in a very abstract way. I wasn't placing the facial features, and that's good. That's good. That's not a bad thing. So now I'm just kind of going in and just kind of refining the facial features a little bit. Like the eyebrows were too far up, I thought. And also too, the eyes were open, and then I closed them, so that changed also. And I thought about like putting an abstract pattern, like just dots or something on the hair, and I might do that. Now all of this is wet over here, so I don't want to turn this into a big mess, but you know, that's where I'm kind of going with these portraits, is I'm trying to see how I can incorporate patterns, just random, you know, patterns. So dots, I've got all these stencils here. See, I've got these stencils here. And so I'm just thinking of different ways I can experiment. And I think like combining abstract with a little bit of realism is just so interesting. And another thing I'm starting to do, since I've been doing these painting, like Paint a Monster portraits, is that I'm starting to use like greens in my portraits, which I really loved it when Van Gogh did it. Like, I just love, he's so masterful in using greens in his portraits. But for me, it was like really challenging. I go for the ultramarine blue generally, but now I'm starting to get a little more adventurous and I'm starting to use greens, and I'm really loving it. Green just adds such a it's like almost like a psychological portrait, and that's what, you know, working in this way, you can do psychological portraits, and that's what Van Gogh did. Was he did these portraits that really told you so much about a person's personality, and they were called psychological portraits. I don't know if he did that intentionally, honestly. I don't really know. And I'm just gonna kind of refine things a little bit. And I'm gonna try not to like overdo it, because part of the beauty of working in this way is it does have like kind of an unfinished sort of quality to it. And I like that. You know, I like that kind of like where it's suggesting things and you don't paint everything. So basically what happens is, you know, and I've talked about this before, I think when I was doing still lifes, like the still life series, I can't remember, but basically what happens is your mind is going to fill things in. Like your mind, you don't have to paint every single detail. It's actually better if you leave some things just suggested. You know, you're just suggesting some things, because your mind is going to fill things in. And I just want to add a little bit of red to the lips here, and then I think I'm gonna call this done. Oh, I gotta do the background. I gotta put some chalk paint on the background there. And when this dries, you guys, I might come in and tweak a few things, but I think for the most part, it is, I'm gonna call this done. As I'm fiddling around here. Every time I say that, oh, I think I'm done. And then I just keep on doing stuff. So see, for the background, I don't want all the writing to show through because it's going to be too distracting. So I just kind of, I do the writing and then I just put a layer of my chalk paint. You can use any paint really, but just so that, you know, you can see that there is writing, but you're not going to be able to read it. So it just kind of makes an interesting kind of a pattern to the background, so it's not like completely plain. You can also add writing to the face, which is the next thing I'm gonna do. Like I said, I'm gonna experiment with putting patterns, abstracted patterns, so I'm gonna add writing to the face. And I haven't done it yet, but I'm thinking about doing it, and I will show you guys like the you know, what happens. I think that's gonna be interesting actually. Okay, you guys, well, I think that this is the end of this series. Let me bring it up closer and hopefully I won't spill this. But I really am loving so much of what's going on here. And I learned a ton. I think when it dries, I'm going to go back in with my marker and I'm going to just refine the eyelashes just to give some definition to the eyes. And I may add some pattern to the hair, like just kind of an abstract pattern, and just maybe just do a few small things. But I think for the most part, this is done. So I hope that you guys try working this way. Paint a monster. It is so fun and it's really going to free you up. So thanks so much for watching and I will see you in my next video. Bye.